Hey there, YouTubers. So today what we're going to try to do is we're going to remove the lower unit and going to replace the impeller. Normally in the past this is something I would have my mechanic do, but I moved from the Gulf side over to the Atlantic side and I don't really have a mechanic here that I trust. Now I'm doing things myself, and what this is it's not so much as a how-to, but a should you do. There are some things that should be left to the pros and some things that the typical do-it-yourselfer should be able to do. Now, a lot of these jobs, when they charge labor, they do it by the book and how many book hours it takes them. Now, I've never done this before, so I shouldn't be able to do it quicker than a mechanic or by the book or whatever. So I ordered the part offline at Crowley Marine, and they shipped it out, and I'm going to attempt to do it, and I'm going to time it. And so we're going to see how long it takes someone that's never done it before to do it, and is it a hard job, and then we're going to decide at the end of whether it is something you should try to do yourself or should you just bring it to the mechanic. Wish me luck. So tools that I'm expecting to need is, number one is a marker to take the trim tab and just make some marks on it so you know that you're taking it off the same spot. I do have a ratchet with a small extension, also a larger extension, a 12mm and a 14mm bolt. Now most of the bolts are 14, there is one that is a 12, and a screwdriver, just a normal flathead screwdriver, and my bolt extracting tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove 6 bolts here, 3 on each side. Then we're going to remove this, a grommet of some sort, and there's a bolt down there, and we're going to take off this trim tab. When that bolt's removed, it's attaching, it's holding this in place, but then there's going to be a bolt under here and then a bolt inside this hole, and that should be all we need to take off to get this lower unit off. And I'm going to start a timer to see how long this job takes. Got the stopwatch, and we're going to start now. Alright, I'm going to leave this last one right here in just a little bit, and the reason for that is I don't know when I crack that last bolt how much that's going to fall, and I'm by myself, so what I'm going to do is leave that in there just to catch it in case it falls. I'm going to switch over to the 12mm. With these 6 removed except this last one, just in case when I go to take the last bolt off, I don't know how much is going to fall out, how much pressure, but I did take out the grommet and there was one inside that hole, and what it did is I took out this one in here, but there's also one more that's in here, and that again is a 14mm. So we're going to take that out, and that should be the only thing holding this on, and hopefully it doesn't fall too fast, because that's why I have that bolt in to hold it in, and I can just back that bolt out by itself. Alright, so it didn't fall out very far. So I guess you can take that bolt out. Like I said, by myself, I just figured I'd do it for safety. Just give a few wiggles here. And it does feel maybe about 50 pounds. So I've got in the back of my car right now. We're going to remove these 4 bolts here, pull this off, and expose the stainless steel housing and then the impeller inside. And these are 12mm bolts. We're just gonna grease some spots around here. Grease this a little bit, put some grease. I think I'll do that without the camera rolling. Slid the new impeller down into the spot and put the casing inside the outer casing, and then I put that on, and as I was putting that down onto the impeller, I was turning the shaft clockwise with my hand, and what I was doing is I pressed it down. It made the impeller kind of like star thing start kind of going to one side, and I could also compare them to the old one I took off to make sure they were going the right way. So now I just have to tighten down the bolts on that, and then I'm going to install everything back up. So I got them all snug, and now I'm going down and cranking them down. I don't have a torque wrench. It's supposed to be 34 pounds. That's pretty good snug. And we're done. Just under 28 minutes. So let's just even call it a half hour. So the part was $23.95 and it took me a half hour to do. So is this a do-it-yourself job? Yes. Would it be easier with a second person? Absolutely. As you probably saw, I was struggling a little bit getting it back in and then reaching for a nut to kind of get it secured or whatever. So having that second person just to help you or to hold it in place when you're trying to take that last nut out, but it's not a two-person job for the whole thing. Second person might save you 5 minutes and a little bit of sweat and a little bit of aggravation. So absolutely, I do think this is a do-it-yourself, and should you do it yourself? You probably should. I don't know what a marine mechanic would charge to do this job, but $24 and a half hour time, I can't see having to call them up, take your boat down there, be without your boat while they're working on it, and you know, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully I can make more videos like this. My next one coming up, I am going to do a changing the thermostat one. I'm not going to do it today, but I will probably do it in the next couple of days, and I'll do it as a separate video, and we'll kind of do the same thing as we'll decide if that's a do-it-yourself job or something that you should bring to a mechanic.